with us today on the eve of a big, ginormous national election with a lot of local implications is L.J. Holloway, Lashonda J. Holloway, who's running for is it the 5th District of Congress from Florida?
It is the 4th Congressional District. Remember, the governor gerrymandered the district and they flipped the number, another tactic of voter suppression to confuse voters.
I wanted to give that to you to make sure you put it out there. So everybody understood that.
Yes. Well, I don't think everybody understood it. You'll be surprised at the number of voters that I talk to daily who still think that they're in the 5th Congressional District. And I let them know that no, it is now the 4th Congressional District because they not only gerrymandered the district, but they flipped the numbers. So now the Beaches is 5 and the 4th Congressional District, which was formerly 5, is now 4. So people not only are confused by the district number, but also many of them don't realize the map has changed. So people who live in Ortega thought they were in Congressional District 3, and they are now in Congressional District 4. Clay County, many of them thought they were in Congressional District 3, and they are in Congressional District 4. Same thing with Nassau County. Nassau County was represented by John Rutherford. They don't even realize that they are represented by Aaron Bean, and it was formerly 5.
Well, I would hope they would realize that by now, but at any rate.
Oh, yes, of course. I mean, the people who are engaged, there are always engaged voters, and those engaged voters who are disappointed in his record, of course, no, but then there is a large swath of Americans who are just trying to survive and don't know what congressional district they reside in.
Well, the nice thing about it is they'll get the awakening when they get their ballot and they step into the booth and they see the only 2 names that they have to vote for. Exactly. And they have to make a decision. Some polling puts you in a very advantageous place this time. And quite frankly, because of the presidential election, there is going to be and is already an increased voter turnout in early voting and expected to be a major turnout, a massive turnout on election day. But again, all that aside, what again are the top 3 things that L.J. Holloway is looking to bring to Congress that may not be being dealt with by the current incumbent?
Well, the first thing I would say that is not being addressed by the current incumbent, I would say, is affordable housing. Look, that is a crisis in our country right now, affordable housing. You see when you drive around the district, there are a number of homeless people. In Clay County, you see homeless veterans. In Duval County, you see homeless men and women. And in Nassau County, you find teachers who cannot afford to live in Nassau County. So affordable housing is certainly a crisis in our country as well as in the 4th Congressional District. Moreover, we find that women are very concerned about no longer having the right to make decisions regarding their bodies. I mean, it's not a place for the government to determine when a woman decides to have a family, or if a woman is raped, if she should carry her rapist baby. Furthermore, people are, also, referring oftentimes to their access to health care. Look, there are a number of people in the 4th Congressional District who are either uninsured or underinsured. So people really care about access to health care. And we know that Aaron Bean wants to end the Affordable Care Act. So look, those are issues that are important to people. And of course, what is and has always been a priority for me, and in particular during this time, is making sure that the John R. Lewis Voting Rights Act is passed. I mean, look, it has bipartisan support, and it should pass so that people can automatically be registered to vote at age 18. In a democracy, everyone should have access to the ballot. And if someone is a felon, if they've served a time, then you should restore their rights and allow. I'm sorry.
No, I was just saying that's a lot to unpack there. You touched on one of the issues that's on the Florida ballot that eventually we would think would come through Congress if depending upon who's going to be president, and that has to do with Amendment 4 on the ballot. That has to do with what would send us back to pre-Roe v. Wade days. So I take
absolutely. Reproductive rights is on the ballot in Florida, Amendment 4. And I do believe that, look, it's going to help to sway and shape this election. I've spoken with men and women who agree that the government has no place in a woman's doctor's office. Look, that's a privacy issue. I mean, how many men would want the government to tell them whether or not they can use Viagra?
Very true. And of course, there is Amendment 3. Now, pardon me here, but I equate Amendment 3 being on the ballot to remember the 1920s when there was a nationwide, Congress passed it, as a matter of fact, as a result of a lot of people protesting about it. They had marches, the churches are marching against liquor and alcohol, how bad it was. And Congress passed it, and we had what amounted to a 10-year ban on alcohol, on liquor sales all across the country. And everybody went underground to sell. All the way up until, I recall here in Jacksonville, or certainly in the South, all the way up until the 70s, we had shine houses in the neighborhood where you could go and buy you some liquor because it was too high. You didn't have no good liquor stores at the time. And of course, moonshine was still a thing. But at least after 10 years, people realized that this isn't working, and Congress reversed itself. Exactly. Is marijuana in the same boat?
Yes, absolutely. Let me say, first of all, we know that, people are arrested disproportionately for possession of marijuana. And so I believe that we should legalize marijuana, one, because it's recreational. Most people use it recreational. And two, we should have it regulated. You see people who have lost their minds from having what they would say bad ganja, or bad reefer, depends upon what generation you're in. And so by having it regulated, it becomes safer, number one. You don't have to worry about it being laced with fentanyl if it is regulated. And two, we know that Black and brown people are arrested disproportionately for possession of marijuana. And so the law says that you get this particular amendment is not a law yet. We hope that people will vote yes on 3. But this particular amendment says, yes, you can possess less than 3 ounces of recreational marijuana. And remember that marijuana is a suppressant. It is not, an upper. So if anything, people mellow out, it doesn't make people aggressive. So why not allow people to have recreational marijuana? It's already legal for medicinal purposes. And so even the revenue that will be generated will also help the economy. So why not make it legal? I wholeheartedly support voting yes on 3. The kids say, oh, they smoke trees. Let them smoke trees illegally because they're doing it illegally already. Why not allow them to smoke?
Yeah, and I mean, we all, I'm not a marijuana smoker, but
neither am I.
I'm a cigar guy. But the fact is that there are health risks with every one of them. The health risks that have been well documented with alcohol use, no matter what you do. There's obviously a health risk with straight tobacco use, cigarette, that is well documented and carried through it. So it's not as if people don't. The risks aren't there with these recreational things that we do. And it appears from all medical information that marijuana, quite frankly, is no different. It's just that it will drive the street hustlers out of business and hurt the trade coming across the border. But that's actually a good thing. I equate this, and plus the taxes that will come from you buying it will be something else. I equate this also to remember when we used to have numbers in the neighborhood, you go,
leader.
you go and buy the number man come around. He was always one of the better dressed people in the neighborhood. But number man come around, you buy you some numbers for a quarter. You can buy you some numbers and all that. Well, when we legalized it and brought in the lottery, we drove all the number people out of business.
That's true. Exactly. It was called the Bolita.
Yes. We drove them all out of business. I mean, that was a nice little bit of cash that they made. But now it's done, and you can stand in. You have to stand in line when you go to a convenience store just to get a loaf of bread now, because the numbers line, especially on Friday and Saturday night, is so long.
Exactly.
I tell you. Well, you are running a national election, so it's not a problem of nationalizing your election. You're already in it now because of the presidential ballot, and you are running for Congress, a national seat. What are the effects that you're seeing? Now, I would hope that the Democratic Party is going to be motivated this round. And the early polling, that's not early, but it's the polling that came out this week, I think from UNF or some of that has you coming up with less than a double. You have a single digits. You're in single digits with the incumbent here. So what are you looking at? What do you think is going to be the thing to carry you over the top to get you into Congress?
The same thing that has carried me all along. The way you win a war is on the ground. And so I am of the people, for the people, and by the people. And so my ground game has always been my strength. I have never raised a lot of money. My district is one of the poorest in Florida. And so today alone, I have more than 9 stops. And at 6 o'clock this evening, I have 4 places to be. And so that is just that, touching the hands and the hearts of the people.
Now, again, how do we your website's up. We're going to show that here. We're showing that now, touching your website. And is that the main contact point for people with you to get the information out?
Well, at this point, yes, hollowayforcongress.com is the best way to reach me, because the phones are ringing off the hook and we are out pounding the pavement. And so our response time is not as, because we don't have any paid staff. We have volunteers, and right now we have all hands on deck and everybody on the ground. I paused. I mean, we've been out since 8 this morning, and I paused to run back here to take your interview because look, we have exactly 9 days to victory, and it's important that everybody is out making calls or canvassing or texting. And so that's what we are focused on, is reaching the people.
All right. Is vote at hollowayforcongress.com, or
that is the email.
That's the email if you just want to send something, but the website is up and running. We have it there on the screen for you to do it. So you can contact, you can make your contributions there. Don't be bashful. It's a small.
Please, we need money. We need money. Texting costs, as does commercials. And so we do need money. So if you are so inclined, please, Clam, please, sir, if you want to have representation in Congress, who wants to ensure that Social Security and Medicare is not cut, who wants to ensure that the Environmental Protection Agency remains, or who wants to make sure that the Department of Education is not eliminated, please vote LJ Holloway for a better day and make a contribution at hollowayforcongress.com.